Yes, people, big up to you. Welcome to another Arsenal show. It's myself, Dan Potts, your host, and I've got Egal with me. The show that you all want. Everybody talks about it. Why'd you do this on Egal's channel? Why don't you bring it to your channel? Well, that's what I'm doing. Laguna Saguna with me and Egal. Egal, big up to you. How are you, mate?
I'm doing well. I'm chilling. International break. Been just sitting back, relaxing, watching some of the games, and really just taking time off to relax.
Love that, man. I've been chilled as well. I don't mind international breaks because you can relax, but I hate it because it's lack of football. And for content creators, it can get frustrating. I appreciate why people get annoyed with it. But I will say this we are playing tonight, and at least England, we can actually cheer a bit more now. Well, I can anyway, because we've got Rice and Saka. And it's been so long since we can actually say that we've got two of the best England players. And I really do truly believe that we've got that. So at least I can see how they're doing. Brilliant goal from Bukayo Saka. Gets so much disrespect. I don't know why, but he does. Maybe we can talk about that another time.
Hey,
But we're going to be talking about quite a bit today. Go on, bro.
Maybe Arsenal win the World Cup. Who knows?
Well, can you imagine if West Ham can win it in '66, then maybe we can win it in 2026. You never know. But look, bro, I've got to be honest with you. It's always good getting you on. We don't always see eye to eye when it comes to Arsenal. We don't always agree, but we can always be respectful and have a good chat. And that's why I always respect you and get you on, and always enjoy talking to you about the Arsenal. It's a good time to talk about Arsenal because Arsenal are top of the tree in this international break. And hopefully by the next international break, which is only in November, can't believe it, but it is true, we'll still be top of the league because we've got some nice winnable fixtures in front of us. Now, I know no game is ever easy, but it has been a tough start for Arsenal. We're going to talk about that in general. We're going to look towards the next 6 fixtures. We're going to also look at Mikel Arteta's job this season and also what's happening around us in relation to other teams, and why we hopefully it might be our year. Let's see. Big up to everybody that's here. Make sure you hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you're following Egal Talks Football as well. His channel is there and his Twitter and social media handle is there also. So make sure you're showing Egal some love. And let's get into it. Look, Egal, before we get into any specifics, I want you to sum up our season so far. We've had games that have impressed us. We've had games that have been very topical. We've also had very tough fixtures. And we've had a Champions League regime that has started as well. So talk to me about the first 9 games that you've seen Arsenal play this season, bro.
Extended preseason, Manchester United and Leeds. I would say those 2 games felt like an extended preseason, not the most crisp games, kind of clunky. You get the job done versus Leeds. You get the job done versus Manchester United. Kind of 2 completely different performances where Manchester United, we just did what we needed to do to get through the game, let them have the ball. First half was a little bit of a yo-yo. Second half, we basically said we're going to take the goal and just get out of this house with whatever we have. And if it wasn't for David Raya's double save at the end of the game, who knows? It could have been a 1-1 draw. But then the Leeds game, I never felt like Leeds bothered us. We just won it quite convincingly. We did what we needed to do. And then here's where the next phase, where it's the concerns start popping up again. When we face Liverpool, Nottingham Forest, who do we play between Nottingham Forest, Man City next, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then those 3 games, I would say, was where people were concerned because Arteta played a lineup where it was very a little bit more pragmatic versus Liverpool, a little bit more pragmatic to start the game versus Man City, and Nottingham Forest. It didn't matter what happened. We just played an Ange team that didn't know what they were doing, and we smacked them. So those 2 games versus Liverpool and City was the cause for concern and like the early signs of worry for the fan base. And then it shows you the moment we have a little bit of adversity, that a big portion of the fan base doesn't believe in the manager, and they're quick to say, it's what's happening. We're not going to do it this year. 1-2 games, 5 points behind the league, and all the doom and gloom begins. But then I would call this last couple. I would call this part after the Man City game, the part where people started noticing our squad depth was the savior and the backbone of the team, where you had obviously the Man City goal, and then Bilbao, and then we had the game where we rotated the whole team almost in the cup, and then the last couple of league games, players were coming off the bench making a difference also. So I'm just looking at the Newcastle game, for example, and how players are coming off the bench making big differences. Zubamendi coming off the bench for West Ham making a big difference. All these players coming off the bench, the final game is where people finally realize Arsenal have the best squad in the league. And I think it's all coming together now. People are starting to realize Arsenal have a good squad. Arsenal are a real threat. Arsenal are here and they're not going nowhere. Injuries happen. Doesn't matter. We have the next man up. Players are not necessarily playing at their best level yet. Tactically, we haven't even had too much time with each other. And it's still like we still haven't clicked into gear. And we're currently top of the table, currently made a 6 point swing over one international break to the other for Liverpool. And I just feel like the confidence has grown within the fan base. And I think that's crucial because I don't think the players and the manager ever lose confidence. I just feel like the fan base lose confidence in poor results and poor performances. But then when you see us perform the way we have over the last couple of weeks, you start to gain confidence and belief in not only the team, the manager, and the squad depth that we have seeing us through for the remainder of the season.
I'm going to agree with a lot of what you said in relation to each game. One thing me and you disagreed on right at the start about Liverpool and Arsenal game was that you thought he was tactically okay. It was just the players at the time let him down. I didn't think he went for it enough. And against Manchester City, I was disappointed because at home, I don't think we went for it enough. Now, I'm willing to say that I think he already agreed with my side that he didn't go for it enough. And I think he went for it against Newcastle and West Ham. And I liked him for that. And I praised him for that. Now, what's ironic about it, Egal, is I actually really was excited with the West Ham lineup because he went with Ødegaard and Eze either side of Rice. And we saw it for 10 minutes and then Zubimendi come back on. But what I actually did was I said on my fan cam, I quite liked Zubimendi's performance when he come on. I actually thought we were better. And I thought that Zubimendi and Rice with Eze was really good, like really good. I like that trio. And I hope now with Ødegaard being out, that's the route that he goes. And we don't see Marino in there and he actually goes for it a bit. I actually do think he's learnt from those two games, Liverpool and Manchester City. And it's fine because, you know, it's happened. We move on from it. We didn't lose the Man City game. We could have won it, should have won it. I still think that Liverpool were there for the taking. But I think that he knows now he needs to be a little bit braver. And I think with the route that we've got now in the next few games, we've got some tricky games. We're not making out like this is easy and a breeze in the park. But at the same time, they're winnable. I think we're going to see Arsenal, well, I hope that we're going to see Arsenal now kick into gear. So I think that Arsenal's start has been more than impressive because we've taken from those 6 games, which everybody laughed at and said Arsenal are going to pick up 6 or 7 points. We've actually taken a real big chunk out of that I think a lot of people have been impressed by.
13 out of 18.
There we go. We've also won both of our Champions League games, I would say quite convincingly. And I also
Baba was difficult.
Yeah, but it was fairly convincing towards the back end of the game because I thought the subs he made were good and they both come on and scored and I thought we comfortably won the game. Obviously, Olympiacos, I mean, I thought Ødegaard was excellent. It's a shame he got injured because I thought against Newcastle and Olympiacos, Ødegaard was actually one of our better players. That's the Ødegaard I want to be seeing, right? However, I do worry that Mikel Arteta might put the handbrake on again throughout the season. And I hope that he just keeps it off, man. That's all I'm saying. Would you agree that he's learned from those 2 games at Liverpool City, or do you still stand by he was tactically spot on? It was just the players weren't able to take their chances or create enough.
I think the personnel, I agree with. The actual approach in the game, he was wrong because he continued to play with the single pivot and the double 8, which doesn't give the 10 the freedom to drift. He's recently gone to a double pivot, which gives the number 10 more freedom to do more. And that's how Eze has been looking a lot better, in my opinion. Eze has looked a lot better in that 10 position. Even Ødegaard has looked a lot better in that 10 position because you see them pop up in way more variety of places. I think it adds more unpredictability. And I think that is a tactical tweak that he made. It's not about just personnel. It's about the slight tactical change in the formation from a traditional 4-3-3 to a 4-2-3-1. But yeah, also, I never disagreed that he wasn't brave in the lineup per se. I didn't think the way that he set up was to lose and was too negative in the sense that we didn't try to attack Liverpool. I think that was a little bit disingenuous.
You think he should have gone for it more, you're right? You think he should have gone for it more, been a bit braver?
I think the personnel, he could have gone with a better attacking player rather than Mikel Moreno. But the thought process of sitting back, seeing the game up for 20 minutes, and then trying to go at them after that, we were the more attacking team in the first half. It's just Liverpool threw the kitchen sink at it in the second half, and we only lost because of a set piece. Like, I know we win some games because of set pieces, so you give and take. But I didn't think it was that much of a terrible performance. Like, everyone spoke about it as if Liverpool were head and shoulders better than us after the game was done. I thought it was a lot of results-based analysis around everything around that Liverpool game, similar to the Man City game. Man City came to our house, parked the bus, and we were criticized for being too negative. It was actually hilarious, in my opinion, the way that people reacted after the Man City game. Both Man City and Liverpool showed Arsenal way more respect than they have in the past. And what happened in those two games were the Arsenal that we knew in the past that were the underdogs coming to these places that have to come and win against these teams is no longer that team. It was Arsenal coming to our house. We're not going to lose to them, and we're going to try to beat them in a different way. We made Liverpool play different. We made Man City play different. We didn't get the wins, but now Arteta has to see this and say the two best teams in the league are respecting you to the same level of the teams lower down the table, like a Chelsea, Tottenham. We have to view Liverpool and Man City the same way we view those guys, and we have to come into those games the much more aggressive, more dominant team. So I do agree with you. Arteta has to do better, and he has to do better with his lineups. But one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to turn this into the manager in and out conversation, because at this moment in time, I think that is redundant.
So I agree with you. I don't think that people are talking about Mikel Arteta being out, unless you can tell me that people are saying he needs to be sacked. I would have sacked him last season, and I told you reasons why. Right now, he is top of the league and won both of our Champions League games. If he doesn't win something this year, we can have that conversation, right? Now, I've been having debates for the last 2 days about this, and people have actually been calling me like deluded, saying if he wins the League Cup, it's not enough. Why would you keep him if he won a trophy? I just want a trophy, man. I just want him to win a trophy so bad. And if he wins a trophy, I'd keep him for another year. If he doesn't win a trophy after that, he can go. Right now, some people think that's ridiculous and it's deluded. That's their take. And if people want him gone, if he does win one of those, the FA Cup or the League Cup only, that's cool. I'm not going to cry about it if they replace us with Luis Enrique. It's not a problem to me, right?
Yeah,
so that's where I'm at.
If he wins the league, this could be the beginning of something special.
Well, this is what we're going to get to. Because you have made it quite clear that you think this guy is the right man for the job for quite some time now. You think he's going to get us across the line. You think that we're all going to be in a position where we're looking at you going, blimey, Egal, you were right. You were patient. Look at this. For the last 5 years, we've been winning everything. And that's the conversation I believe you had with Dan Lawless a while ago, saying you believe that we're going to dominate in the next 5 years. You believe that we're going to win a lot in the next 5 years with Mikel Arteta at the helm. And we're going to talk about why. Before I go into some topics, which I've kind of put into questions for, let's talk about our competitors quickly. Because a lot of people are looking at Liverpool as favourites still. A lot of people are looking at Manchester City as not going anywhere because of Haaland's form. Chelsea have won the Club World Cup, but if I'm honest, I don't see them as being in a title race come March, April. I really don't. don't think that defensively they're good enough with what they've got, and the goalkeeper's a clown. So I don't think there's anyone else either that's going to shock like a Newcastle or Spurs, or definitely not a Manchester United. So let's talk about Liverpool and Manchester City as our main competitors. What do you see from them this season, bruv?
I see a Man City team that is a lot better defensively and is going to be a little bit more of a challenge this year than they were last year. And I see a Liverpool team that has not yet clicked, does not have the cohesion that they had the season prior, and their best attacking threats don't look as good as they did either. They went very heavy. One team in Man City has now shored up their defense. One team in Liverpool have kind of gone away from everything they had last season with a lot of change in Darwin Núñez, the unfortunate passing of Diego Jota, RIP to him, and of course, selling a lot of players. They have had so much changeover, the two teams, that they don't look like nothing that they were last year. Completely different sides, the two of them. And Liverpool, for better and for worse, they look worse already going into the season with the lack of cohesion in the midfield, defense, and of course the attack. Mo Salah looks much less involved in the final third than he previously did. We already know the struggles Florian Wirtz has had, and Liverpool are currently in a bad route. They need to just win a couple of games and get themselves back some confidence. But I don't know if Arne Slot has the solutions, because he's been messing up a lot lately. He needs to get it right. As much as we talk about Arteta and Klopp and everything, Arne Slot won the league last year, and he did an amazing job. This is his toughest job he has now, to find a way to get this Liverpool team with a bunch of new players and a lack of squad depth in the defense to sort them out. Because I heard Konate got injured, I heard Gravenberch got injured. You never wish injury on anybody, but of course this is huge blows for Liverpool and to the detriment to Liverpool and potentially to the benefit of whoever's facing them. As for Man City, they got one of the best keepers. They already have the best now. They arguably have the second best keeper in the league and one of the best shot stoppers in the league. And he is a nuisance. Every time Saka's had a big game in his life, Donnarumma's messed it up for us. So I hope and pray that he doesn't do that this year, but he is already a game changer and he takes Man City's team to another level. And I just think for the two teams that are going to be battling with, I'm currently more concerned about Man City having Erling Haaland and Donnarumma playing at an elite level for a consistent period. Maybe they could give us more problems than Liverpool, because I just think Liverpool are going to have like an off season. It doesn't look good right now. I need to see them switch it on and turn it on before I say they're actually going to be back to what they were last year. And as for Chelsea, all due respect to Chelsea, I think they're a good team. I think they have a really good midfield, but I just don't think they'd have the it factor in the defensive end to win a bunch of games consistently and to keep enough clean sheets and enough good defensive performances to get them to a title race and stay consistent in that title race. And without Cole Palmer, I think they're pretty much dead in the water when it comes to title race talks.
I agree with a lot of what you said. Chelsea, agree with those sentiments. I don't think that they've quite got a squad yet. I think that they've got a really good midfield. I'm not sure they've got enough quality up top or at the back to be able to go and win the league. Doesn't mean they're not good in a couple of years, but they certainly don't have it at the moment. As for Manchester City, I'm never saying no because they've got Pep Guardiola, and I'm never saying no to them because they've got Haaland, who's on absolute fire. So for me, those two reasons give Manchester City a great chance. They've actually got an excellent spine. You're right to mention Donnarumma. I actually think Vardy and Diaz together as a partnership will improve them defensively. I do think that Rodri, when he's back, is one of the best in the world. Foden starting to look a little bit better. And of course, they've got Haaland. And I still do think Reinders, although he's had a couple of hit and miss games, is a very good footballer. I think it's on the outsides, Manchester City, I'm not sure about. They've done okay with their fullbacks at the moment, but I don't really think they have any. They don't really have any wingers that I'm massively scared of, although Doku's definitely improved and Marmoush is a good player. Manchester City could do it. Liverpool, they look a mess right now. In the last 3 games, they look terrible. Defensively, they look shot to bits. They've completely mucked around with their back line.
Since the beginning of the season, to be fair.
I think you're right. I don't think they've clicked yet at all. Will they click? I hope not. I think Wirtz and Isak will get better. Does that mean they'll both make them a better team than they were last year? I don't actually know if they will be. But if they do click and it all goes to plan, they've got a serious team because of what they've spent. And, Tom made a really good point actually yesterday on my show. Where is the pressure on Man City and Liverpool? And it was a really good question, actually. And it's one that I wanted to ask you quick. Because Arsenal have got to win this year. Everyone talks about it. We've got to win the league or we've got to win the Champions League, rah, rah, rah. Don't Liverpool and City, though, because Liverpool spent an unbelievable amount of money as well. They've spent Isak and Wirtz money, which has seen them break the British transfer record twice in one window. Manchester City didn't win anything last season. They've got Pep Guardiola. They've got the best striker in the world. They've got one of the best DMs in the world. Surely there's pressure on Manchester City and Liverpool as well, because otherwise what we're saying, Egal, is if, let's say, Arsenal win the league this season, what we do is what Man City and Liverpool do and goes, brilliant, now we can sit and chill. You guys have got to win now. No, we got to go win again, which is why I think Man City and Liverpool should have pressure on them as well.
Liverpool seem to have no pressure on themselves because, well, number one, the way that it's being portrayed is Arsenal are the team that are the best now. Arsenal are the favorites. It doesn't matter that Liverpool spent the most money. Arsenal are now the odds-on favorites by the bookies and everybody. They've basically thrown Liverpool aside. And because Liverpool and Man City have won the leagues respectively recently, and their 2 managers, it's simple. Forget about the club name. Which manager is under the most pressure? And that's how they're applying it. Forget about which fan base is currently the most frustrated. Which group will go into utter chaos if they don't win. That is basically how they're determining which team has the most pressure on them. And Arsenal, unfortunately, we will have the most pressure on us until we win. Liverpool won last year.
Do you think they've got credit in the bank, Egal? Do you think Man City?
Liverpool and Man City have credit in the bank because they've recently lifted trophies. And even forget about that. Even if we win 2 trophies this season and Liverpool win 0, they will still be able to be given a pass this season from the mass media, I would say. The people internally, Liverpool fans, they will maybe have a different type of feeling about it. But for myself, I don't think Vert has as much pressure as Gyökeres does. I don't see Isak have the same pressure that Gyökeres does. I don't see Arsenal get the same coverage as Man City or Liverpool, simply because you've seen that graphic that was going around in Sky Sports. Arsenal played 300. Arsenal got 360 points, 346 points. Man City got 345 points. Liverpool got 330 something points, and they have 1 league title. City have 2 league titles. Arsenal have 0 in that time. We've been consistent. We just haven't been able to get over the line. And
Well, that's my big question mark, is can we get across the line? Let me do this super chat quickly, and then we will go into the topics quick about why we believe that Arsenal should or could dominate in the next 5 years. Farhan says, big up to you both. We know we all love Martin Odegaard, but would you bench him if Eza does a better job during his absence? Now, Mikel Arteta has already made the decision that Eza looks to now be an attacking midfielder centrally, because he's played a couple of times on the left and he's just screamed at him all game and just moved him into the centre. So I don't know that he is going to be this left winger that you and D and some of the others thought he was going to be. I think he is going to play more centrally for Arsenal, and I'm actually quite happy with that. What do you make of this super chat, Egal?
Farhan and my brother, Fiantai. I'll tell you this. When it comes to Martin Odegaard, he is the club captain. He's gonna have a room in the squad no matter what happens with Eze while he's out injured. And if Eze plays well while he's out injured, the better for Martin Odegaard. It will just push him to be a better player. I've seen him since he came back from injury. He's looked so much better. And did you see Mikel Arteta's interview? He spoke about how Martin Odegaard last season, when he had his baby, he was struggling with his recovery from injury because he was more focused on getting the baby acclimatized, doing the night feeds, and he wasn't really sleeping well. So not only do you have to be home injured, focusing on your injury. You think I'm joking? I can play the video. I have it on my phone.
I'm not. I don't think you're joking. I just find it bizarre that he's the only footballer that's had a kid and struggled. Everyone else is fine. I just don't see it.
Maybe all the other guys, their wives were maybe dealing with a lot of the night feeds. Clearly, Odegaard looked tired all the time.
But he's not breastfeeding it, Gal, is he? Come on, like, let's be real. He's got a nanny.
Well,
He's a multi-millionaire, this guy.
Maybe he's bottle feeding, because I bottle fed my firstborn, and I'll tell you this, because it's a bottle. Now you can do more of the tasks. Now you can lift more of the weight. Now you can help out more. And I don't know if they have like a whole nanny or a group of people, but it's an actual legitimate reason on why Odegaard might have been a little bit more sluggish last year, because he wasn't only getting injured, but he was dealing with a lot at home.
Well, I don't believe in that. I think he had an injury, and I think he struggled with his performance.
The manager said it with his own words, bro.
Yeah, but the manager's also said us a lot of stuff, bro, that isn't true, isn't he? He's also come out with a lot of waffle, telling us that we're the best team in Europe and that we just lost to PSG, we deserve to win, and saying how much we're the best team in the league when we're not, because Liverpool won the league. And if we would have had this...
Dan, this is a very private matter. And I think, you know what? I'm just going to send you the video so you can show everybody what I'm talking about. I have it right here. I'll send it to you on WhatsApp.
Okay, well, we'll take a look at that for sure. This next one that's come out from Shaitanya. He says, we can't dominate till we win major honours. We have a great team with sealed contracts on major players. Berta has done his job now. It's Arteta's turn. Look, I agree with everything here. I don't think we can dominate until we actually win stuff. And also, I do think we have got a great team. In fact, I think we've got the best squad we've had since the Highbury days. I also believe that we've got contract renewals happening, and that is a massive thanks to Andrea Berta, as well as the players he's brought in and sold. And I do think that Arteta has to look at Berta and say, you have literally done your job, and I now need to do mine. And the way to do that is to win a trophy. And I do believe that it should be a Premier League or a Champions League, but I would accept it being a domestic trophy because we're so starved of them. And I don't think we should be poo-pooing them and telling them, everybody, that they're dusty if you win them. So that is why I would keep Arteta for another year if we are to win something this season. And people say I'm deluded for that. But then also people tell me I'm toxic and negative. So which one is it? So there we go. Look,
why do people call you deluded? I don't get it.
Say again?
You're like the furthest thing from delusional.
Well, people disagree and have opinions, don't they? People think you're deluded. Some people think you talk sense. Some people think I'm deluded. Some people think I talk sense. So that's the way that it is. And look, I personally do believe that he probably will still be here, even if he doesn't win a trophy and get.
I shortened it to 30 seconds for you.
Okay. Let me email it and I'll put it up here so I can actually try and get an understanding of it. But what do you think about Arteta's future this season? What happens if he wins something? What happens if he doesn't win something? While I'm trying to sort this out.
I think then it doesn't make sense talking about Arteta if he doesn't win something when we're in October. Because last time I checked, we can't physically win anything in October. I know we can lose
Yeah,
it.
no, sorry, I meant at the end of the season. Like you just said to me, why do people think you're deluded? And I said because at the end of the season, if we win something, I'd keep him. And people think I'm crazy for that because it has to be a Premier League or a Champions League, otherwise he's got to go.
No, I think people are just saying. I think people just want something to be angry at, something to poke at, because at the end of the day, you're completely entitled to say if this happens, I'm going to be happy, and if this doesn't happen, I'm going to be upset. You're completely entitled to say that, especially since Arteta is a top 10 all-time, what do you call it, time spent in the Premier League with the club. Did you see that? He's one of the
I did
longest
say
serving.
that.
He's one of the top 10 longest serving managers in Premier League history. So
Which is crazy.
I do think there is some touchy topics within fan bases, and one of them is, of course, that same as Kai Havertz. Like you were one of the guys who were saying, get Kai Havertz out of this club, even though he was helping us get match winners on a regular basis. So,
to be fair, I didn't say get him out of the club. I said make him a squad player and stop putting him up front. That's what I did say because we need an upgrade. And I do believe that we did need an upgrade. Whether Gyökeres is that guy or not, we're not sure about because he's obviously got some self-doubters. And people keep, for some reason, every time he plays for Sweden, putting a compilation of him not scoring goals. But they don't do that for
I think the key to success for Arsenal is not constant change. You don't necessarily want to be like Manchester United, who's constantly changing managers and constantly finding that out. They need to have new players in, new tactics, constantly changing the team, constantly changing the manager. I just don't think it's a good way to succeed. Now, Real Madrid, it worked for them. Chelsea, it worked for them. But I don't think it's going to necessarily work for Arsenal. It hasn't worked for Manchester United. You can see Spurs constantly changing managers for the last couple of years. It necessarily doesn't help them either. And what constant change can also do, it can give disbelief from the players in the team to the actual project and the situation. Whichever way you like it, Arteta has the full belief of a lot of these players, and they're all signing new contracts. They're all saying they want to stay at Arsenal. They're all saying they want to become legends of the club and win trophies at the club. So to me, that just goes to show me that I should have my utmost belief in this manager, because the players who I respect and I rate also respect and rate the manager. To me, what I find weird is the people who love Saliba, Saka, and think that they're great players and that they're winners, but think that the manager that they respect and they believe in, that they credit for doing majority of their work, helping them become top players, is this bum that should be sacked.
Okay, let me ask you a very quick question then, because I don't want to digress. Do you think the reason these guys are signing is because they love Arteta or because they see that Arsenal in the next near future are going to win trophies?
I think Arteta has a big part to play in a lot of these guys signing new deals, because they see him as a top manager. They see him as a manager who's made them a better player. They see him as they see this team as tactically one of the best teams across Europe. Yes, we haven't won the honors yet, but before Declan Rice came, we were in two title race. We were in a title race. Last season when he was here, the season when he first arrived, we were in a title race, and now this last season it kind of fell away from us due to injuries and other things. But I think these guys have the belief that they're one of the best players out there. And I now believe that we have players who genuinely believe they're the best amongst their peers. For the longest time, we were this up and coming young team. Now I believe we're a team where a majority of these guys are reaching close to their early prime.
No, I agree with that. And I do think that we'll come on to that next, because I do think we've got an unbelievable squad here now that can go and do things in the next few years if we have the right person backing it. And I hope that person is Mikel Arteta. Excuse me. I hope that right man is Mikel Arteta. But let me just quickly ask you, do you think then the reason they've signed, do you think Arteta's got a big thing to do with it? I don't know the percentage of what he's done for them to sign that contract. If he was to go, do you think the players would leave, or do you think they'd stay at Arsenal still?
No, I do think if Arteta was to be sacked, they would have to build the trust with the new manager, whoever it is, to get these guys to stay. But if Real Madrid come knocking in 2 years' time and Saliba hadn't had his contract signed, Do you think another manager coming in maybe could have changed that? Do you not think Arteta's relationship with certain players, like, do you think we still get Zubamendi if Arteta is not a Spanish manager who previously played for that club? Do you think we would? Do you think we would get a bunch of these guys that we did get? Do you think we get Henkape for so cheap? Do you think we get Mascara? After one conversation with Arteta in Spanish, he said, "You know what? I knew that this was the one place I wanted to go." I do think it's a valid point to say that Arteta is part of the reason why a lot of these guys are saying, "You know what? I trust this club for the next 3 years to be part of my to be here, because I trust the manager, I trust the direction we're going in, and they see the team and they say to themselves, this is a good team."
But I think it's very, very, very important that we're clear about who we're praising for here in this summer. Are we praising the manager, or are we praising Andrea Berta, or are we praising them both?
The groundwork of how we were able to have a successful summer was because we already have a team that is good enough where we don't need to buy too many starters.
Who are you praising this summer for, Egal?
No. Don't forget that Arsenal only bought 3 out and out starters in this past window. We signed 8 players. 3 of them, in my opinion, are starters. We did not need to go and sign 6 or 7 starter caliber players. Manchester United, for example, needed to sign 5 starters for their team to be even competing for top 4. It's not that level. Berta gets a lot of the credit for the signings and the quality of the signings. Arteta gets credit for the team being such an attractive team, because this supersedes when Berta came. Arteta is the reason why this team is such an attractive team. Arteta got this team from where we were competing for just to get back into the Champions League, to getting into a title race, as soon as he got the players that could get him to that level. And as much as we did not win the last couple of years, I will tell you this project doesn't reach this level without Mikel Arteta's tactical nous, without his ability to communicate and be a good man manager and motivate players. And as much as people find him kooky and weird and silly with his tactic,
He is a bit though, isn't he?
With his ways of doing things, he is a good man motivator, and he's a manager who thinks outside the box to find whichever advantage possible. And I think that is good traits of a top manager. And until he wins, some people will never see what I see in the manager.
Okay, look, let me do a couple of these super chats, and then I've got a question for you, and then we are going to get to these things. This is coming from Farhan. It says, if City lose Haaland, that's it. And I actually agree, they will miss him massively.
Or Donnarumma, because we've seen that.
Well, I think Donnarumma, yeah, but Haaland is just on scary form right now. It's actually worrying how mad he is.
Haaland's an alien.
Yeah, Nathan says we'll win the league. F what other teams' opinions are. I hope you're right, bro.
Thank you, Nathan. Right. We need to stop caring about other people, but it's rich coming from me because I'm always a defending Arsenal.
No, I'm the same, bro. I'm the same. I sat there the other day defending Gyökeres, thinking, why do I care why rival fans are having a go at him? It is what it is. But look, let me
have the video.
Oh, I do. That was what I was going to do next. Let's play this, people.
I don't know. Sometimes I've been with a player that I wanted to put the finger into something that it was very clear. And then I realized 3 months later that he had a problem with his wife, or he didn't sleep, or his kid for 3 days, and then he got injured. And I said, I've been scratching my head for 1 month trying to do that, and then I found out that this was the real reason. It's a lot of factors we're trying to control, dominate, and be aware of what we can predict. But then, unfortunately, this is sport, football, and life, and it's not that easy. I can look at that, but for example, Gabriel Magalhaes gets...
So he's basically saying Martin Ødegaard. He hasn't said Martin Ødegaard, but it clearly is Martin Ødegaard there. Is that what you're making out? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So you kind of understand where I'm coming from when the manager even tells you that we didn't know that the player had so much going on behind the scenes that was leading to him not having proper recovery time, that it can lead to further injury or further issues, and also lead to poor performances. So we have to do better finding out what's going on behind the scenes, basically.
Okay, look, first of all, I don't know why he wants to put his fingers in players. That sounds very odd. However, when he was talking about that, I think the Martin Ødegaard thing, the Martin Ødegaard situation is one that I just look, if he was a bit tired when he had a baby, I don't think that is actually a reason as to why you can have a poor season. You might have a poor few weeks, might have a poor few months, but he had a poor season, Egal. I think we're trying to make excuses for him, bruv.
Dan, I'm sorry, you've not had any kids. It's draining. It takes away from your recovery.
I'm not saying
It
it's
doesn't
not, bro,
it
but he
doesn't
is
it
not.
doesn't it doesn't
Egal,
allow you
Egal.
it doesn't allow you to be at your peak best fitness if you're constantly dealing with night feeds and you're doing all these other things. Now,
How
if
many
Odegaard,
people have babies in the league? How many footballers have had
I'm
babies?
simply saying if he's injured and he's recovering from an injury like he was, and he's also dealing with other stuff going on at home, which the manager clearly told you, it can have an effect on your performances, regardless of what anybody says. You're a human being. If you have other things going on that is draining you, it will take away from your full peak effectiveness.
So is his baby okay now then? Is that why he's performing against Olympiacos?
No, his kid's
He's
probably
getting sleep
older.
now.
His kid's probably older. He doesn't have to worry about all the stress. After there's a little period where it can definitely negatively impact you massively.
Okay, well, every time that I see someone having a bit of a bad game, I'm going to ask if they've just had a baby.
No, come on. Now you're taking it out of context. You're making.
Well, that's what you're saying. Apparently, it makes them very tired and can't perform on the
No,
pitch.
Arteta was simply saying there's other factors that can also deal with you having stress and further lead to fatigue or injuries. And he was saying you not getting proper sleep, you having issues with your partner, or you having a child can definitely affect you.
Okay, look, let me move because otherwise we're going to be here forever. Farhan has also come in and said Gyökeres and Isak not in the World Cup. Yeah, look, I if I'm honest with you, I'm hearing so much about Sweden, about Isak and Gyökeres and how bad they've been and all this kind of stuff, man. I'm so kind of done with it.
I don't want to hear it. Bergvall missed the open net, cost him the game.
Well, apparently it was Gyökeres who was the issue, because that's all I keep hearing. It's just ridiculous, man. It really is, and that's
the ball came in, open net, past the keeper. Bergvall just has to slot it away. He rolls his foot above the ball, and the ball stays in one place, and he keeps going.
Mate, but no one will mention that. They'll mention Gyökeres and Isak, to be fair. But there we go. One of those things. Okay, before I put some topics together of about how Arsenal can dominate. And I'd like to discuss them very quickly. But before I do that, I need to ask you why I'm bringing this topic up and this title up. Because you did a video with Dan Lawless. I don't even know when it was now. It was a while ago now. And you said you don't just think that Arsenal win the league, you think Arsenal will dominate for the next 5 years. And you know what? I spoke to a friend of mine today and actually said Arsenal right now have everything they need to win trophies. Whether it's going to be dominate for the next 5 years, I've no idea. But we do have everything we need to win trophies. This team was good enough to win a trophy, in my opinion, anyway. However, right now, it's good enough to win major trophies. That's what I think. So talk to me about why you think the word dominate was in your vocabulary across the next 5 years when you look at Arsenal Football Club right now.
Number one thing, in order to dominate, you first need to start creating a winning culture. So we first need to start winning something. We haven't won anything in the Emirates era. Let's first break the Emirates in and get that first Premier League trophy, bring it to the Emirates. And that is how you're going to start this whole thing. It doesn't start without just getting that first one through the door. And I honestly believe this is going to be our year. The way that we've built this team, the way that we've gotten to this team has been through great recruitment. And that has been one of the main things that has led to us having this team that is so good now. Our recruitment can't stop. Just because we have now gotten a team where we're good enough to compete for the league doesn't mean we now don't go and address the left wing position going into next summer. It doesn't mean we don't go and address another defensive midfielder behind Zubimendi and Rice, or another more attacking midfielder who can come into this team and give us more creativity also, in the case that we move on Norgard or something like that. We don't need too many solutions in our first 11. But we cannot drop the quality of the first 11 by staying too consistent with just what we have. We constantly have to change it up and refresh it over the next coming years to keep us from becoming stale, right? And that's where the investment from the Cronkies comes in. We don't dominate anything unless the Cronkies and the ownership consistently view the club and winning as the priority. Now, don't get me wrong, nothing wrong with building the stadium up. But while you're building up the stadium, you still have to be able to be saying, I'm willing to invest 100 million here, 200 million here, just to make sure in the case that we do lose any players through injury or just because they're no longer at the same level or for example, we do end up selling like a Ben White or somebody like that in the future, we will need to replace them. And Arsenal of past, we kind of tried to bandage things. We didn't really go out fully to replace things. This new era of Arsenal, we don't have a goalkeeper, bring in Kepa. We don't have a backup for Zubimendi, bring in Norgard. We need a backup for Saliba and Gabriel, bring in Henkape and Thing. I need to see the same level of consistency going forward. When we have any holes in our squad, fill them. In the past, we didn't do that. We just let it go. So these things make me believe we're a better run club now. We're no longer run like we were under Arsene Wenger, under Gazitas and all these guys. Even Raul Sanelli and them, when they came in, they were just trying to put bandages over everything. They weren't trying to look at the long-term picture. And this is where the non-negotiables from Arteta comes into play. And I know people hate when I say stuff that Arteta said or quote Arteta, but his non-negotiables really came in. Everything that he spoke about when it comes to attitude, work ethic, when it comes to overall just having a team playing a certain way and it's his way, as much as people don't like it, getting rid of the guys like Guendouzi, getting rid of guys that didn't fit the squad, like Aubameyang. In the short term, we had pain, but in the long term, now we are now benefiting. We are now seeing the team playing in a cohesive way, when at times defending very well. We have one of the best defensive teams in the league. That doesn't happen without this quote from Arteta originally, where he spoke about non-negotiables and things that you need to do. So I really do respect how far we've come. And the final thing I would say is the only way we do win all these things and dominate is if these players consistently develop also. That's the final thing. We can talk about the manager, we can talk about investment, we can talk about everything, but the Sakas, the Rice, the Reyes, the Gabriels, the Salibas, the Timbers, those like 6 players who I consider some of the best players in the team, will also continuously need to perform at this level for us to continue to do well. And injuries aside, we should now have a team that can rival Man City, Liverpool, any team in the league or across Europe, with the fact that we are now at this stage. And it's just get us over the line. We win one, it will start coming like buses. Best believe.
Bro, well, it sounds like what you're saying is, like John says, trust the process. It's going to happen. Trust the process again, people. In the next 5 years, it's going to be dominated. Look, I agree with what you're saying about non-negotiables, and I've actually praised Mikel Arteta and Edu previously for what they did off the pitch in terms of removing the culture and trying to bring in players that are not toxic and they're going to go, be on the boat, so to speak, non-negotiables. I don't think we've always replaced those players. For example, I still trying to wait for a striker to come and score the goals that Aubameyang did for us. But I do think that there were players we left like Ozil and Socrates and Lewis and Mustafi, and you mentioned Guendouzi and some of the others that we just had to let go personally to move forward with better quality, and also with some of the players that I just think their mentality was completely wrong. You mentioned as well about there being kind of ruthlessness, which I've mentioned here as well. And intelligent player recruitment. I think that we have definitely done that this summer. I like the players in this 11. I think that Raya was definitely one that was an upgrade on Ramsdale. I think our back line is stacked. I do think our midfielders lacked balance in the past, so I hope they can get that right this season with Zubimendi and Rice and Eza, etc. And then up top, we've now finally got Victor Gyökeres and 2 more attackers in Eza and Madueke. Is that what you mean by intelligent player recruitment?
100%. The main thing for me is we identify guys now like Christian Mosquera before they become 170, 60, 50 million pound players. And on top of that, what we've been able to do up until this point without having to pay ridiculous money. David Raya didn't cost us ridiculous money. We got him for a loan, and then the next year we got him for quite cheap, to be fair. You look at Timber, solid transfer fee. Even the most recent transfers, Gyökeres, you could say that was a budget fee compared to what Sesko and all these Voltamedum and all these guys, what they're going for. Our recruitment and our ruthlessness, getting rid of Ramsdale, getting rid of Aubameyang, getting rid of Guendouzi, getting rid of all these guys who the club just didn't deem fit anymore. It shows a level of ruthlessness that people have been asking for. And you know something? When we did become ruthless to fan favorites, people didn't like it. But they always called for it under Arsene Wenger. They said, forget about the sentimentality. Arteta did that one thing that a lot of people criticize Arsene Wenger for, and he got killed for it. But you know what? He did it for the best. The next season, when we got Jesus and Aubameyang and Lacazette were both gone, you seen the level up that we went. It was worth the wait. Although everyone's
Well,
going to say,
will our board and owners be ruthless with our manager this season? That's what people will ask, because they've been ruthless with the team. So are we going to be ruthless if we don't start winning? That's what I need to know. Question mark. Let me quickly just
let me answer. I believe Arteta, even if he doesn't win the League or Champions League, there's gonna be some sort of ramifications. It's not a thing where it's like, I don't think they're not gonna.
I don't think there will be.
I don't think they're gonna necessarily sack him, but there's gonna maybe strip some power away from him. But
I think as long as he gets Champions League, I don't think they'll care.
Hey,
I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but they have come out and said that this time is time to deliver now. You got to win trophies, apparently. And Andrea Berta has been appointed because he's ruthless.
Arteta has the most pressure out of every individual in the Premier League. There's no Premier League individual that has more pressure than him. Not
Would
one.
you understand people wanting him to be sacked if he didn't win anything, Egal?
No, I think it's stupid to talk about sacking right now.
No, but if he doesn't win anything, would you think it was out of order if people wanted him to be?
Bro, I think there's more likelihood of us doing a double than him not winning anything this year.
Okay, but if I say again, if he doesn't win anything, do you think it's out of order for fans to want him gone?
I don't want to talk about ifs, buts, and maybes that I don't believe are going to happen.
You can't say it. You can't say it. Okay,
I've said it so many times, Dan. You've been on my channel. I've been on your channel, and I've said it so many times. Why do I have to constantly repeat myself? I just think it's redundant speaking about it right now when we're top of the table. Okay. I've said it so many times. I just feel like it devalues everything that I've said over this whole stream. If I just sit here and say, yeah, let's sack him at the end of the season, what's the point of talking about us
that's
winning?
Fine. That's fine.
What's the point of us talking about all the possible? What's the point of us talking about all the possible good things that could happen if we're just going to say, yeah, you know what? Well, forget about all that. Forget about the next 5 years. Let's just get rid of the guy who's got us to this point.
Well, I thought I'd ask the question again. You didn't want to talk about it. It's fine. Tactical evolution, flexibility, something that I've questioned, something that I've been worried about. Mikel Arteta has had a different style of play pretty much every single season. And we saw the start of this season. We saw him try to put the handbrake on. Now he's taking it off a little. He's been set piece FC. He's been attacking free-flowing football. He's been resolute. He's been free at the back, lump it long to Aubameyang. I've seen everything from Mikel Arteta. What does he need to do to dominate and to win trophies for you?
Number one, I feel like this is one of the major things he gets criticized for. But at the same time, he is probably one of the most tactically flexible in the league compared to defensively, attacking wise, and he could even play on the counter now. You've seen him play so many different ways in his time at Arsenal, from winning the FA Cup till now. So as much as Dan, we criticize Arteta for these two specific things, his flexibility and his tactics on a regular basis. Can we be honest and say, you know what? He has shown a broad range of these two things, and he's consistently
He needs
shown.
to win something with him, though. He needs to win something, but yep.
No, I agree. But the thing is, I feel like it just takes one Premier League title for everyone to say everything I have been seeing for the last 4 years is
I agree.
Exactly
It would. And that's why we want to win, because then fans like yourself can say, well, I did kind of tell you that this was going to happen. And I want that for you and for us and for everybody. I want it to be celebration together. I don't want it to be you were wrong, see you're an idiot, see you were wrong. No pointing fingers. We all celebrate together. I just want to get to that point.
The moment he gets Gyökeres firing, everyone will be like, you know what? He's a good manager. He can make it work with everybody. Because if he did it with Havertz, I have no belief in my mind that there's no issue. He's not going to have an issue with getting Gyökeres to get goals soon.
Well, look, that's going to be interesting to see. I want Gyökeres to do well. Finances has been an issue I've always spoken to you about, and I've said that we've spent a lot of money and we've spent more money than XYZ. I think we've got to get better at actually selling players. Not that I want our players to be sold, but if we do actually have players that we need to sell, I think they need to improve. What's your thoughts on this, bro?
We're not a selling club because we are not a team that sell our best players. And right now, I seen somebody Stricto talk about it. If somebody offered you 200 million for Saka, would you sell him? Would you?
I don't want Saka leaving, no.
I think he's one of the best in his position. It doesn't make sense to sell one of your academy boys for any price. If Mascara was being asked to be sold for 50 to 100 million, then maybe. But realistically, one of Saliba and Gabriel get asked to be sold, we'll maybe have to think about it down the line. But right now, keep this team together at least for another year. And I believe that financial issue that we are going to have is when you win, you will make money. How will that money be reinvested? That's what I'm wondering. Will you continue to sustain the success by reinvesting it? This is where I'm talking about this. When you have this kind of money that we had this past season in the Champions League, or if you win the league, are you going to continuously show investment by rebuilding the stadium, by getting us more squad depth at the highest level? Like, say next year we sell Martinelli or we sell Trossard and we bring in 2 left wingers in Yildiz and somebody else. That's what I'm talking about. Like, bring in the top quality when you need a position. We're no longer just going to go for bringing in a left winger, any left winger, or any midfielder or any defender. We should show in order for us to sustain success, we have to show a level of consistency on and off the pitch with the quality of investment that we make. And I think people don't like talking about finances, but when we talk about transfers and we talk about everything else, finance is a big part. And Arsenal, we've done a decent job. Guess what the next step is? Take away some of the concerts in NFL from Tottenham.
Oh man, you can always say. Make sure you do me a favor, people. Make sure you hit like, make sure you subscribe, and please be respectful in the chat. I've seen some.
I'm used to it. People don't have to like me.
I know, man, but it's not right, man. It's not right. People shouldn't be abusing people. It's ridiculous. It's a football chat, for goodness sake. Like, me and Egal are cool. We're mates. Let's just chill. Let me do these couple of supers, and we'll come to the last point before we come to a close. Egal, Cliff says, or maybe they've been told if Arteta does not win, we'll get you a gaffer that will get you over the line. The lads would want to reach the pinnacle together after all that disappointment. I think this is in relation to signing new contracts at Arsenal. So he believes that people are saying, like, whoever's going to be here, we've got a good enough squad to go and compete. And I tend to agree with that. I don't think players are signing just because it's the manager. I think they're happy with other things other than just the manager. Nathan says, I feel that once Arteta starts winning with his squad, it's over. That's what rivals have got on us. And don't mind what they say. It's all social media. The league is ours. Nathan, big up to you, man. And I hope
you know what,
right,
people who work in the sport, I've spoken to a lot of people who work in the sport, and Mohamed Saleh, who I know, Mohamed Saleh, right?
I know Mo, yeah.
Yeah, he also speaks to a lot of people. He's a neutral. He's a Napoli fan. Everyone who
he loves Arsenal, though. He loves Arsenal.
Everyone who works in the business tells him Arsenal, people don't understand. Once it clicks, it's over.
I hope you're there, right, man. Well, let's talk about that, because the last point is winning mentality and squad culture. Now, that is something that I must admit I've had huge question marks over. Mentality of this squad and the manager. Because when I see them go to Newcastle in the League Cup and I see them lose to Manchester United with 10 men and I see them go out of competitions, and domestically we haven't been very good in that. I've seen us go 8 points clear and not being able to win the league. I've seen us chasing and never really get close, and I've seen us miss out to silly teams. When the pressure ramps up, we do crumble, Egal. And that is why people can't answer me the question, why haven't we won anything in the last 5 years? They don't want to accept it. Mentally, we haven't been ready. We haven't had the mentality.
No, we just weren't good enough. We just weren't better than Man City.
What about last season?
Fuck last season. Why are you laughing?
Because what else is that?
No, because last season had nothing to do with Liverpool being better than us. It just both Arsenal and Man City just collapsed. Injuries, multiple things happen.
Okay, so if I was to ask you the question, why have we not won a trophy in the last 5 years? What would your answer be?
Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go. So I don't know. I'm being serious. I do have to go. But when it comes to not winning a trophy, I honestly just feel like we put our eggs in the basket of trying to win the league title, and it then maybe dampened our ability to rotate because we didn't have the squad depth. That's the honest truth. We didn't have the squad depth to compete on all fronts. As much as I thought we did, we never really had the squad depth. Now we finally know what squad depth's like. Odegaard's out injured. Nobody's really bothered. We still expect the team to do well.
Okay, let me throw this at you, and then you can shoot off. I promise.
You
I
went to the
promise. I
gun bar.
promise. I promise. It's 2030. How many trophies has Arteta won at Arsenal? Just give me a quick answer, and you can go.
As
5
long
years
as
time.
it's 6.
Woo! 6 in the next 5 years.
Yeah,
Egal, you're a legend.
I'm saying at least 2 or 3 majors, and then a couple domestics and Super Cup, Super Cup, and what else is there? Yeah, Super Cup. So I'm including like the Super Cup, Champions League title.
I wish I was you sometimes. I wish I had your
No,
optimism.
but you win the Champions League, you basically almost win the Super Cup pretty much.
Well, that's what should happen. All right, bro. Look, you get out of here because you're a legend. Thanks for jumping on, man. I do appreciate you. And
Hey,
I'll wrap this
to
up. But you're a
to
legend.
the people who dislike me, when we win, we'll all be on the same page and we'll be happy.
We will. We will. And I hope that we are winning this season and we're all happy together come May.
There
Big
you
up
go.
to you, bro. Make sure you're following Egal, people. Big up, man. See you next time. In a bit, man. Legend. You got to love Egal. He's a very, very good friend of mine and a very funny man. And he sees things completely different to me. But let's not abuse him, right? He's a good lad. He's an Arsenal fan. He wants Arsenal to win. Do me a favor, people. Hit like. Make sure you hit subscribe. Yeah, I will see you on the next one. Take care and have a good evening, people. Good night.